This story is essentially uh, to serve two purposes. One is for the people who belong to our family tree, and the other is a lesson that we can learn from the resilience of a person who did not have formal education, who had a lot of challenges in life. So this story was told a couple of years ago, and I've repeated it several times. But many of our family members have not heard it. And I wanted that this, if it is available as a recorded document, recorded clip, it can pass on to the future generations and they can know a little bit of our family history. It's not that we are royal family or anything like that. I just want to share this. The story goes back to the year 1862. That's 162 years behind from today. In a village in Tirunelveli district of Tamil Nadu, there was a village called Argangulam. And on the banks of the river, on the banks of this river, this Argangulam village was there. And a family, a poor family of Brahmin priests, a girl was born in 1862. Not much records are available about how many siblings she had or something like that. But before she was 12, she lost all her siblings. She was the only child, surviving child of her parents. They used to call her, those days, they used to call her Chinnu. And she was born in that village. 15 years later, that is in 1877, when she was about 15 years old, again, like in a typical Brahmin family, they found a match for her in another nearby Tirunelveli village. They got her married to a person who was about 14 years older to her. His name was Sundaresha. Sundaresha, those days, a tall, handsome looking fellow, tough hair here, very handsome looking fellow. He knew a little bit of English, little bit. Hello, sir. Good morning, sir. I beg your pardon, sir. I beg your indulgence, sir. Is all he learned, maybe. And he also wrote a little bit of English. Those days, 1877, long time ago. And because of that, he used to earn about how much? 8 hours a day. That's a bargain. Earning hardly 10 to 15 to 11 rupees a month. Princely salary. And with that frugal income, he had a couple of brothers, 2 or 3 brothers younger to him, one older brother and 2 younger brothers. And with whatever frugal income he had purchased some land, cultivable land. He had purchased a house. So Chinnu got married to Sundaresha, the handsome Sundaresha. And Chinnu was right the opposite. A diminutive 5 foot 1 inch, maybe, dark complexion. She didn't bother about her appearance or about her appearance or anything like that. So Chinnu got married to Sundaresh, 1877. As challenges come, life changes like that in just a moment. 10 months into her marriage, not even 1 year completed, Sundaresha died of cerebral thrombosis. He went to work and just collapsed. And Chinnu was hardly 16, maybe 16, 15 plus 10 months. She was pregnant 7 months. And her husband died of cerebral thrombosis, leaving nothing much behind. He was innocent, unlettered person. She didn't learn and have any formal education. She just learned whatever her mother taught her and her father taught her. She didn't have much education. So this woman Naturally, the younger brothers and all of them came to her and said, put your thumb impression here, put your thumb impression there. We want to settle certain things, otherwise, nothing will come to you. So, in exactly 30 minutes, she signed away what little property and the land she had. Just put her thumb on some impression. And then she realized that everything was taken. But because of Sundaresha's influence, there were people who were wanting to help this person. They came back and said, if you want, we will send all these people to jail and get you back home. Don't worry. Her reply was simple. I want people, not property. Those who want property, let them have it. I want people. So she lived happily in a household for which she was the owner, Malikin. She was a maid there. And in due course, a son was born. The son was born, and the brothers, they also got married and prospered and did well in life. But Chinnu and her son, Chinnu was a free maid for the whole family, cook and maid for the whole family, and her son, who was called Chami, was the errand boy for the whole family. And Chinnu had no complaints whatsoever. And like it always happens, 20 years later, 1897 or 98, Chami got married. They say, those days they used to say, if you have nothing else to do, get married. So he got married. And to a lady from a nearby, a girl from a nearby village, Lakshmi, they got married. And in 1900, their first child was born. The first child, that is Chinnu's first grandson, was born. He was named Shankara, named after the deity from a nearby temple called Shankara Narayanan Kovil. There, Shankara and Narayana are the same Vigraha. Shankara, he was named Shankara. Shankara took after his grandfather, tall, handsome looking person. And so now they had one more generation, one person to do their fairest of the family. Chinnu didn't bother. She said, Shankara born, very happy. But then it didn't stop with Shankara. In the next 19 years, I think 14 children were born, named after various deities. Shankara was the first, then Venkatrama was the second, Gomati was the third, Sundaresha was the fourth, Rama Subramania fifth, Kalyani sixth, and seventh child was born and died during childhood. Eighth was Krishna, ninth was Narayana, 10th was Subbalakshmi, 11th was Meenakshi. It went on. And the cousins are the brothers of, and Chinnu's brothers-in-law started complaining. They said, he does nothing. Every year there's somebody born. So there were hands to work, there were more mouths to feed. So a little bit of ill treatment started. That's when Chinnu woke up to a reality that if he were not bright enough, the next generation, that is not her son, her grandson's children, her grandsons and granddaughters, would end up being unpaid servants in the family. So Chinnu moved out of Tirunelveli, Naranamalpuram, such a place. She moved out of that place, and 100 kilometers, those days about 70, 80 miles away, she moved to the city. Those days it was only a town, Madurai. She moved to Madurai. And she used to take up odd jobs. She was very good in making papad. She took up odd jobs. She was a very good cook, I hear. She took up cooking. She used to do odd jobs, rolled out papad, acted as a midwife, and made various kinds of homemade concoctions to take care of your headache, stomachache, backache, things like that. And she earned all this and started spending it for her grandson Shankara's education. So Shankara was about plus 19, 20 years old. And Shankara, those days, had a qualification. They call it, it was somewhere between 10th and 12th, FA or something. It was a pre-U course or something. And Shankara picked up excellent English. He used to speak English very well. Head for counting and mathematics, head for planning. He picked up and grew up very smart into a smart young man. That's when, in one of the households that Chinnu was working, there was a relative, a Sambandhi, who had come in all the way from Kolkata, West Bengal, and he was working in the railways. So that gentleman who had come all the way from Kolkata was impressed by the personality of Shankara. And he said, the smart man, and he said, if you can make it to Calcutta, I can get you a job there in a British company. So 1922 or 2022, I think. Shankara was about 22 years old. Shankara and his grandmother, Chinnu, traveled all the way from Madurai to Kolkata. And those days, the train journey used to take 5 days to 7 days. Okay? She traveled to Kolkata. In Kolkata, it is a twin city there. Kolkata, if you have ever been to Kolkata, maybe we'll have a satsang in Kolkata once we'll go there. It's a twin city. It's a river running through the city that's called Hooghly. On either banks, there is Calcutta on one side and Howrah on the other side. It's connected by Howrah Bridge. It's a hanging bridge. And it takes amazing traffic and engineering part. We should see it someday. So she took up residence in Howrah. There was a burgeoning Tamil Brahmin community there. So she found ready employment in the form of cook. She was a cook, a midwife, home concocted medicine maker, popper roller. She found jobs there, and Shankara found employment with a leading British firm. They were so impressed with his English, with his physical fitness. In fact, they say, once the boss was traveling by car, and Shankara overtook the car and reached the office even before the car did. So the boss said, who is this fellow who can walk faster than my car? And he promoted him. So Shankara did very well. And he brought all his brothers and sisters over to Howrah. He got his brothers whatever little education. Education was not a priority those days. And especially for a family which was economically hard up, education was not a priority. He brought his brothers over. He brought his sisters over. He got his sisters married. And by 30s, in the early 30s, all of Chinnu's grandchildren were well settled. Very well settled. All the grandchildren started doing well. One grandchild two grandchildren took up the profession of Vedic, like they became Vaidikas. Their families are doing very well today. And another sister was married into a family of another Vaidika, and that family is doing gloriously today. We'll have a separate storytelling session only for that family. That family is doing gloriously today. And then the eighth was Krishna, and I'm Krishna's son. So I'm Chinnu's great grandson talking to you. So the family all started doing very well. They did very well in life. And 1930s, 1940, that was the time when Japan, Netaji's army was, that Indian National Army. There was that freedom of India's movement. Indian freedom movement was going on. Kolkata was under bomb attack by Japan. And during one of those attacks, Chinnu's son, Chami, passed away. So Chinnu, who was otherwise unshaken by any of the changes in her life, couldn't take her son's death. So within 6 months, even Chinnu passed away. And 1942, Chinnu's son passed away. 1942, Chinnu passed away. The lesson she left for everyone is come what may, keep smiling, never complain. She didn't have access to Bhagavad Gita. She didn't have access to Vedanta. She didn't have access to formal education. She said, if you refuse to give up, the world will bow down to you. She didn't achieve greatness. There are no statues erected for her anywhere in the world. But she left behind her prayer all along was, may I didn't get anything, my son didn't get anything, may my children and their children have everything. And she worked for it. And they say, I don't know, they say that her constant refrain was Rama Ram. Not typical, Rama Ram. And her dream came true. Rama temple was built. She always used to feel, why there is no Rama temple in India? Finally, the Rama temple came true 160 years after her birth. Rama temple also came through. And I'm privileged to be her great grandson, son of the eighth son, a grandson of Chinnu. Then when my father passed away and when I started doing the Tarpana, then I was told that my great grandmother's name is Kalyani. So I do, Kalyani Namya Aditya Rupa Svata Namastarpayami Aditya Rupa, my great grandmother. I do that. Never complained against anything in life, against toughness in life. Ever smiling. And she did a great job. Chinnu, that's my great grandmother. Where did I get all this from? There's no recorded chronicles or anything like that. My Shankara, my Periyappa, he's the first born in the family. He, then one of the sisters, Kalyani, she was my maternal grandmother. Because of, intercaste, inter that consanguineous marriage. So my own aunt became my grandmother. So Kalyani, one of my maternal grandmother, my father Krishna, and my paternal aunt, my father's younger sister, Subba Lakshmi. They are the sources of the stories. Whenever you used to get time, especially my attai, my favorite attai, they used to say. And I used to sit with her, and she was the one who told me wonderful stories. All these stories are purely Karna Parampara. I heard, recorded it in my mind. And after this electronic media has come, I thought I'll share it with all of you. And this is essentially meant for the descendants of our family. Then Jami was his name. Later on, I realized that his name, I was told by my great uncle and others that his name was Samara Pungava. Very unique name, available only in that particular village of Tamil Nadu. Our village name is Narana Malpuram. Only people born there are named like this. Samara means battlefield. Pungava means one who stands straight in a battle. So it is Sri Rama's name. Samara Pungava, his name is Samara Pungava. So the firstborn grandchild is always named Samara Pungava. There are about half a dozen grandsons in the family who have the name Samara Pungava. If you see the name Samara Pungava anywhere in the world, there is one, I think, neurologist somewhere in the US. He must belong to this. He must belong to Sundaresha's son, brother or somebody like that. Samara Pungava is a family name. And we follow another tradition, which is a very unique tradition. We wear a single nama, single yellow nama. Okay, and it is not like the Vaishnavas Y or U nama. It is a single straight nama. It is referred to as Keet nama. That means you take a stick and then one stroke, it comes as a nama, Keet nama, or it is called Namakara Vadama. People coming, following certain tradition, they wear the nama. And our names are also very much Vaishnava names. Like I know there are family and their names will be Vaishnava. My father's name is Krishna. My immediate younger uncle's name is Narayana. So we have those names. But there's a Shankara also in the family. So the family didn't win Nobel Prizes. The family didn't, what do you say, no? None of us are captains of industry or anything like that. But from my great grandmother, who I've never seen, for whom I do tarpan, there are two things I learned. Never give up, never complain. Ishvara will take care of everything else. And thanks to the blessings of those great human beings, in my lifetime, I got exposed to Sri Swami Dayananda Saraswati, Sri Swami Atmatriptananda Saraswati, and Vedanta knowledge was given directly to me by this Mahatma, which I am fortunate enough to share with all of you. So this is the story which I want recorded, and I want to everybody in our family, the Samara Pungava family, to listen to the story and understand that life may deal you with challenges. You may not have a good hand of cards, but don't give up. Play the game. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you very much for being there. Binduji is my cousin. She is the daughter of Subbalakshmi, my aunt. So she's heard this story for the first time in her lifetime. So I want so many such people to listen to this story, especially from our family. And for others who want to listen, can always gain something, pick up a lesson. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare Krishna.